Hello, welcome everybody to Just Chatting. Donna E.G. Haugen here, and I am so #super excited because I have a friend here today that I met last year at a biohacking event in Santa Monica, and she is simply amazing. She is a siren. She is an international coach. She's fantastic. And her mission is to change women's lives by empowering them. So how awesome is that? I'm so happy to have with me today, Charlotte. And there she is. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Donna. Woo, so excited to be here with you today. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm so excited. Charlotte is in Ireland, everyone. So she was just saying that when we all went on shutdown, had just finished a retreat in Bali that she hosted. And my goodness, she was stuck in Bali for 3 weeks.
My childhood dreams of being stranded on a tropical island came true.
Fantastic. So Charlotte is simply amazing. And today I'm going to have her tell a little bit about herself to everyone out there because she's a fantastic woman. And I'm so thrilled that she came into my life. The universe just put us together and it was amazing. And so let Charlotte speak a little bit, and she's going to help us learn to move from our heads into our hearts. And it's a practice that it can move mountains. So that's Charlotte's path. And so please, Charlotte, share everything about you.
Thank you so much, Donna. I just want to say, Donna, you're absolutely amazing. And it was mystical how we met because I wasn't supposed to be at that event that night. I just had the intuition to go, and I walked in and I met you. It's a beautiful experience. And that's how I feel like I live my life. I feel like I live my life through like mystical experiences, that these experiences happen for me, and that I don't need to use much power to make things happen. I draw things towards myself in my life. I'm in Ireland. I'm a global citizen. I've lived in many countries, and I've been blessed to be exposed to personal development from a young age. So I'm 37. I'm a biohacker. I use bulletproof coffee every day. I'm a Buddhist. I'm a siren, and I live and breathe my life through personal empowerment and development. And I've gone through enough traumas and dramas in my life from a young age to know where to spend my energy and where not to spend it. And you know, I've, as I said, practiced Buddhism a long time, but over the last, I would say, 10 years more so, I started to really apply the knowledge that I found at all the seminars that I went to, all the books that I read, that I started to apply the knowledge, because it's just like, it's one thing to know something, but it's another thing to apply it. So
true.
I guess I had the blessing of being burnt out in a corporate job. I had a job that was really on the outside to everybody seemed like a dream. I worked as a project and event manager at a national level here in Ireland. And it was just, I got to the stage where, you know what, there's a bigger mission for me. You know, I've always been in personal development, but I made the decision that I didn't want that for myself anymore. And I wanted to listen to my heart and empower other people to do the same. And it doesn't really matter what happens to us in life. It's what we do about what happens, because we need to turn poison, which can be difficult times, into medicine for ourselves. So I haven't been in coaching and Buddhism for many years. I discovered HeartMath. And HeartMath for me is something that is really transformational, not just for myself, but for other people. Because it's very practical, it's very spiritual, and it's very easy to do. And the results are backed up with science. So for me, it speaks for itself. It's like, I'm very much, just don't show me like something, tell me how it works and show me the science behind it. So then I've got more belief in it, because I can actually see the results. So you and I would have spoken a lot about HeartMath, and we both got inner balances. You know, I showed you how to use the technology, and it makes us accountable, because I feel in life, many of us, including myself in the past, have worn a mask, and it's like, I'm fine, everything's okay. You know, you might, you know, look like you're living the life of your dreams, but inside, you can also find very much so that people are living a lie, and they're living behind a mask. And this technology, for me, made me have the capacity to make my clients more accountable to their feelings, because you can't trick the system. So it's like, it's really powerful in that sense that it's, for me, it makes people have real conversations. And that's why I believe I get real results, because I've had a lot of experience in my own life, and I've turned my life around on many occasions from different experiences. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to crumble under this. You know, I'm going to show myself that I can do it, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. So you have a HeartMath. I actually have one that I got from Charlotte. Okay. So we clip it, and we clip it to our ear, and it's measuring our HRV, basically, right? Our heart rate variability. And she'll talk about that later. But what you mentioned, interestingly enough, that it holds us accountable and we can't hide anymore. So this is pretty, we're holding ourselves accountable to ourselves. So do you mean by when we have to see what's happening, that we're not in control?
Yes. And if you have somebody guiding you, like a certified HeartMath coach or trainer, then you quite often will be asked to share your readings with your coach. So you send your readings on, and your coach will be able to show you how to move from incoherence to coherence using the technology through the scientific-based techniques. So it's one, being accountable to yourself, having a real conversation. But then if you have someone guiding you through the system, then you're able to share your results and have guidance and support.
Interesting, because when I met Charlotte, and I've been on a journey. I'm 60, and I'm still on the journey of self-discovery and realization and change. I feel like I'm always improving, and I'm also slipping back. So it's sometimes I'm going forward at just a fantastic pace. But interesting too, when you said earlier that you had experienced trauma and things, you read all the books, went to all the seminars, but you didn't implement it. And I find that so true. We can be on a journey of self-discovery, and we're still seminar and book junkies, but we never implement it into our lives. It doesn't start showing up in our lives because we're not allowing it to show up. So that's so important to bring these practices in. So when I met Charlotte, I was on the journey last summer of biohacking and learning all about the things that I could learn and traveling the world. And this was one of my stops. And I got my HeartMath, and I started working with her a little bit in Santa Monica. She said at lunch, and she's like, okay, this is how you breathe. So I do a lot. I do the brain tapping, which is kind of helps with the HRV, and the PIMF mat measures my HRV. But I was thinking about you, because this is challenging times for all of us. And we support each other, and then we all have our own trials and tribulations going on within what's happening right now. Some people don't have jobs. I just had a granddaughter born that I can't hold. And I'm thinking, I need Charlotte right now. Like you move forward and you help and you give and where you can. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, maybe I it's time for me to reach out again. So it's funny how the universe, I was thinking about her recently, because we're like, where are you? Are you here? Are you there? And I thought, I really want to chat with Charlotte. And then the more I got back into it, I was like, I need to really chat with Charlotte. I need to get this out, and I need to start chatting. So tell us, like, what do we do with this? Because I know what to do with it, but share with our viewers out there how you integrate this into our lives and we work with it.
Basically, firstly, this system, for me and for most people that use it, it gets you out of your head and into your heart, because we think, do, and we get so used to that feeling that we forget, one, to breathe, like taking a deep breath and just sending them signals from your heart to your brain. Like, it's just stopping and taking a deep breath. In the first and foremost, if that's the one thing that somebody that's listening to our call today does, is just stops and breathes when, you know, they're feeling overwhelmed, they're feeling depressed, tired, that they just take a minute to take a few deep breaths, like just to hit that reset button on your heart and mind. It's like Control Alt Delete. Just stop the brakes and take a minute and start again. So you can use the biofeedback technology from HeartMath. You can purchase it and use it with the app, or your computer. You can get an M-Wave Pro. But basically, it all starts with heart-focused breathing. And it enables your fight and flight hormones, your cortisol, to have the opportunity to reset and move towards what we love, DHEA, which is the anti-aging hormone, right?
Yes,
so
we love that.
We love that. We love that in bulletproof coffee. So it's very simple and straightforward and practical to use. So I always suggest that people start, even if they haven't got the technology, to put their hand on their heart and just to stop and breathe, and to just imagine that their breath is flowing in and out of their heart or chest area, just a little bit slower and deeper than usual, and to focus on your heart.
I hope our listeners are doing this. It's amazing. Just drop into your heart.
Can you feel that?
Good. I can feel it. It's in my body. I feel more energized, but energized in a calm way, because when I sat down to do this, Charlotte knows, I'm like, oh, I don't have my lipstick. Oh, do I have enough blush on? What's my lighting look like? And so I was a little frantic, and I feel more energized now, but I feel a calm, a calm energy. And I can even hear it in my voice. And also, listeners, please, if you have any questions, Charlotte's amazing. She does life-changing transformations. So we have her here with us. So put your questions in the comments, and we'll get to those, because that would be amazing. We love to interact with all of you out there. That's our journey, right?
Absolutely.
Like, is to share and to be there. So we can just start that way by coming in contact with our breathing. Okay?
And doing it, what I always suggest to people is do it 3 times a day. Whether it's, morning when you first wake up, that you put your hand on your heart and you're just grateful that you're able to open your eyes, that you're here, that you've lived to see another day. Like, many of us know people or have lost people close to us. And it's like, if we wake up and we've got a new chance to make, a difference, or to have another opportunity to change something that we're not happy with, to wake up and be alive is something to be grateful for, right? Everything in my life has changed through being grateful and forgiving people for situations. Like, it's with HeartMath, it's very easy to apply to your life. So doing it a few minutes in the morning, a few minutes at lunch, set a timer on your phone. And before you go to bed at night, that you give yourself the opportunity to reset. And HeartMath is all about being able to move forward. It's like, I find with my clients, some of them have been suffering from anxiety, depression, PTSD, some of them for more than 30 years. Like, if people come to me with insomnia, I had a professor from a university come to me with insomnia. He had insomnia for 7 years. And I'm just like, you haven't slept properly for 7 years. He said, since I did my, my dissertation, I haven't been able to sleep. And he got onto HeartMath, and he had a transformational experience within about 2 weeks. And he's texting me, he goes, is it normal that I'm starting to sleep longer? And I was like, well, that's why you do HeartMath, right? That's why you're right. He's like, oh, I didn't realize this was so simple. And I'm like, yeah, you're just doing 1 or 2 minutes in the morning, 1 or 2 minutes, at lunchtime, and at nighttime, if you're going to be lying in bed looking at the ceiling anyway, why not stick the inner balance on and do some heart focused breathing? There's meditations in the app, you can follow it. It's a free application. Of course, the technology is an investment, but if you haven't slept for 7 years, properly, then of course, you're going to invest in technology, which is not aggressive in price, to help you. And I don't even have to hear from him anymore, because he got what he needed, right? And that's my whole thing. I don't want people to have to need me forever. I just want people to get the peace that they want, to have the result that they want, and then they go off, because your heart knows all the answers anyway. If you're in your heart, and within 6 to 9 weeks of using this technology, you know, you don't need me unless you really want me to help you move forward, or you want to work more deeply with me, or come on a retreat. Like, you know, it's a very self-regulating system, like, because you're regulating your own energy, and you don't even have to really, Donna, talk to someone necessarily about your problems. Like, because a lot of people that come to me have been to counseling, they've been to, you know, therapy, and they just talk about the past all the time. But with HeartMath and my style of coaching and what I do in my retreats, is like, right, you know, we understand where you are, but we want to know where you want to be, and how can we help you to move forward. And we're not talking about, you know, 20, 30 years ago, or something that happened that was traumatic for you. It doesn't mean that doesn't have a place in your heart, but it enables you to be able to, let's say, move forward in a safe, supported environment, and you're not going into an office having to constantly talk about something that happened so long ago and digging that up again. It's like, for HeartMath, for me, it's like weeding the garden. Let's just get the weeds out. You know, let's get the weeds out. Let's create some new habits. Let's create some new habits for yourself that are practical and that you can do regardless of, you know, your schedule. So I have people that will learn heart-focused breathing, and they have road rage. They'll cut people off on the road, and they just say, well, I just realized that I could do heart-focused breathing because I'm not sitting in silent meditation, that I just take a deep breath and I just trust. It's like changing your energy to change your life. So it's very practical, because some people, and I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
People get it into their head that they have to take hours a day, or every single day, or they've got to fly off. Like, everyone's more than welcome to come to retreat with me, like to have that in-depth one-on-one exchange of energy. Like, I absolutely love it. However, daily life is more important. So how you are with your friends, your family, how you are with your colleagues, how you are with yourself. So teaching people that it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but it takes effort to put on your inner balance and do that 1 or 2 minutes of heart-focused breathing, and do it consistently if you want to change your life. So people come to me after 6 to 9 weeks, they're like, oh, you never guess what happened. You know, I was able to have a conversation with my brother or my partner, you know, and it was so different. And it's because they've changed their energy, and they're feeding that field with coherence. And it's like getting that residual effect of maybe things that have triggered them in their family, you know, for years, that they're like, oh no, I can't go to that event, or oh my God, such and such is calling me. I'm like, just do some heart-focused breathing and some HeartMath before you know you're going to have an interaction. Be coherent, and whatever unfolds, you're going to be able to respond in a positive way, as opposed to react. And then your fight and flight hormones go up, your immune system goes down, you know, and then you're in that fight and flight constantly. And it's just, that's not a nice place to live. And, you know, it's so easy to do, and it works. So
and it works.
Yeah, and it works. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to release the energy in my chakras. Yeah, I'll do that in a course. I'm more than happy to release any energy in my chakras. But people start getting too into the theory of it, where I'm just like, look, this is your heart. You've got everything you need.
Right there.
You know, I mean, it's simple and straightforward, and it works. So people that have insomnia, people that have anxiety and depression, people that have panic attacks. Like, I had a client recently who had lost a child that was early teens. And she had an awful experience up to the point of her daughter passing. And when she passed, she obviously had all of the grief, the like overwhelm, the like all what goes along with losing a loved one, especially a child. She didn't know how she was going to move forward in her life. And she just reached out to me, and she's been using HeartMath since July last year. And she's had a tremendous experience of being able to go out and about and live her life again. She's a successful woman already, but she didn't want to like do the things that she was doing in daily life. You know, it affects people in different ways. So with HeartMath, I'm like, look, if you're in your bed, stick your inner balance on, do your HeartMath for a few minutes, stick some music on, you know, like just get into the space where you can get into your heart. And that doesn't have to be in a 1-hour yoga class, or you know, going off to the top of the mountain. Like, I'm all about getting away into nature, but you know, that's not practical for everybody for daily life.
No, it's not.
So, yeah, I think it's the stories that I hear from my clients and my personal experience of like being able to be at peace with things, to be able to start to sleep again after, you know, having some things in my life that were like letting me lie in bed looking at the ceiling going, oh my God, how am I going to get through this? And my coach is like, look, you know, you're a student of personal development. You know, you've been in personal development. Like I coach celebrities, I work with people like all around the world, like, you know, but we're human. And for me, it's like practice what you preach. Like, you know, if you got a problem, it's all great to know it. But like, I know sometimes people in personal development will know the stuff, but they won't apply it to their own life. So I'm very authentic in that it's about, you know, being yourself, being authentic, because we're all human. It doesn't matter who we are, how much money we've got, where we live, any of that stuff. We all have people in our lives and we all have ourselves that we, you know, we have to have good relationships in life because it's all about communication and connection. So you and I get on because we're authentic, right? We're just like, this is me. You know,
real.
It's real. We're real people. We like to have fun. You know, we're really into biohacking, really into personal development. You know, if we want to, you know, dress up and, you know, have fun, you know, we'll do that. You know, like we're human, and it's not putting this facade on, you know, like, oh, you know, like I have to be this certain way. It's like, just be the best version of yourself is what I say. So, I mean, it works for children, it works for adults, but in my retreats, you know, we get deep into it. You know, we have a real spiritual element to my retreats in Bali, you know, and we work in groups and, you know, getting people to get the stuff out of their head, Donna, like just getting their stuff out of their head and onto paper is such another simple, straightforward way of just getting that, you know, stuff out, because people think the same stuff over and over and over. And it's like, then if you're eating food, right? You're eating food that's maybe could be biohacking food, it could be other types of food. But if you're constantly in stress, that food's just going to create more cortisol in your body, right?
Okay.
So it's just like, if you're in a coherent space, your body's in homeostasis where it's going to do the best thing for itself because it's able to do that. Like, that's why I say it doesn't always matter what you eat, what you listen to. Like, you can go to the gym, you can have the alkaline water, like you and I do all them things anyway.
All this stuff.
Like, but if you don't get the stuff out of your head and get back into your heart, you're just going to constantly be creating situations where like you're living in your past, not your future.
Beautifully said. The it's a Tony Robbins that says, change your story, change your life. And it's interesting, on my last 2 or 3 years, you know, I kept telling the story with the tears and the crying and the traumas, which I kept reliving it and searching and going around, literally around the world, trying to find the joy within. And it was always there, or find the joy, actually, get the joy back. Well, the joy was there. It never left. I was born in joy. We all are. Yes. And it's in our heart. And you can go and climb the highest mountain and search and go on profound experiences, which I love because I've met all these beautiful people that are in my life now, and they all touched me and they all changed me. But at the end of the day, the joy is within. And to just say to someone, change your story, that's easily said. But their story is on that reel, and it's going around and around, and everything you look at starts the story. Oh, I see that. Oh, it starts the story. I see that. It starts the story. Would you just gather everything up and hide it so nothing reminds you of your story? I don't know. That's not too reasonable either. So I love that 3 minutes, 3 times a day, with just breathing in your heart can actually start changing our story. I mean, that's pretty profound stuff, people, like really. And then there's so much more that it does than that as well, for our health and our cells on a cellular level. Every little cell is its own little planet, its own little ecosystem in there. So kind of crazy, but so that's beautiful. And I have a lot of tools, a lot of biohacking tools. And so sometimes I'm like, well, I did that. I did the HeartMath and I did the HRV and the PIM and I did that. So I don't really need to do this because, and I did this and I did the brain tap. But I think you're fooling yourself, Donna. You know, I think that really, I'm very excited to get back to this 3 minutes a day, because I'm going to be perfectly honest with everybody. I kind of feel like I'm losing it over here. I mean, for 2.5 months, I isolated and, waiting for my granddaughter to be born. I've reached out to people and I've been very happy and joyful and nothing. I'm just like, oh, everything's fine. Everything's great. And I've just noticed in the last week, though, there's something off. The dogs that are barking outside are really driving me crazy. Like to a point that I'm like, they're driving me psycho crazy. And I'm thinking, no, this is it. So everything, I've moved up here.
Yes.
And you just pointed that out so beautifully, because I'm kind of like, there's the crazy woman on the block, yelling at the dogs to stop barking. Lady, go back in your house. Like what? So I'm so happy to get back to this. I mean, like, what a simple technique.
It's so simple. It's kind of stupid simple, really. It's just like, honestly, it's just like our heart knows everything. We just have the technology now to be able to monitor that. And it's all about being consistent. It's being consistent of continuing with your practice, because you get more and more deeper into your heart, because it takes people a long time to be addicted to the chemicals of stress, right? So it's like an addiction. You get used to the story, you get used to the feeling, and we sort of, might, let's say, in my clients, they might date a different kind of woman or man, but then they find out they're repeating the patterns because their energy hasn't changed, right? So when you change your energy, you change your life. And it's like when you can be at peace with yourself, and that you can unpack your, let's say, emotional baggage and repack it again in a coherent way, you start to change the kind of things that you do and don't want. And you have real conversations with yourself. And you start to like be in a position where, like, oh, I think I don't need to do that anymore because I feel fine. But then something can happen, it can trigger something, and then you end up back to where you were before. And it's like, well, just being consistent with the practice and making it as part of your daily life, because it's like the more coherence we've got, the bigger difference we can make to the lives of the people around us. And for me, it's like brushing my teeth or putting my makeup on or having my bulletproof coffee. It's a part of my daily life, because the more coherent I am, the better I am as a woman, as a friend. I can bring more joy to the people around me, because it's like I'm able to be, resilient myself and teach other people how to be resilient, because it's just like it's the small nitty-gritty things that really annoy us, like the dogs barking, or some, like, there's a fire station quite close to where I live, and for a week the alarms were going off like a couple of times a day, and there's like an air raid siren, and I'm like, what is that about? Years ago I would have been like, oh my God, whereas like, oh, I wonder what's happened, and I just carry on doing what I'm doing. Like, it's like things don't affect me so much anymore. And people that coach with me or work with me will say, I just don't sweat the small stuff anymore. Like, it's like an energy management system, so you know where to spend your energy. So you know what, is that draining me or is it renewing me? And it's like, oh, well, do I feel good being around that person, or, am I just being in touch with them because they're my family or I've been friends with them for 20 years? So it makes you have real good conversations with yourself and say, hey, you know what? I came home from that dinner and I felt terrible. And if you were my client, I'd be saying, well, you know what? How did it go? Like, did you like being around there? Did you feel worse after you've been to that meal? Like, even though you caught up with that person once a month for 20 years or whatever, it's like you start to see things with new eyes. And it's like the kaleidoscope on it. It's like we can look at a situation and we can say, oh, this is my story. I'm like this because of this or that. And then it's just like, well, hang on a second. Let me get a kaleidoscope and I'll change the pictures and see, did I learn something from that, or what growth did I have through that experience? Can I, find a way to be at peace with a situation, whether it's a situation we've caused ourselves or, we feel like something's happened to us. I find that with coaching, and particularly with HeartMath, that you're able to sort of find peace and move forward, and you stop kind of putting your energy back into the past stuff. And I'm like, because of that, it's like, well, what do you want to do now? Like, what do you want to do with your life? Like, I'll ask people questions like, what do you want to do? Like, I know other people might say, well, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, but be authentic. If that's what you want to do, go do it. And I think you find with this system, and obviously I do other stuff with coaching, it's like being able to be authentic and move forward in your life, and to do what makes you happy. Like, Buddhism's taught me that. Buddhism has taught me that, I am in charge of my life, that it's my destiny that I'm in charge of. And if I want to rewrite the script of my life, then I do. You know, what do I want to be? Where do I want to, like, you know, what do I want to be doing? You know, what country do I want to be in? Where do I want to travel? Like, what kind of house do I want to get in the future? Like, it's up to me. You know, a lot of people don't realize that they can set goals for themselves in order to, and start focusing on the future, and not like, oh, well, I'm always going to live here because my family have, or, you know, this is what we do. It's like, define yourself with your goals.
Absolutely.
And it takes courage to do that. You know, people could say that you and I are wild. It's like, oh my God, they're flying off around the world. And it's like, well, life is an adventure, right? And it's a journey of self-discovery. And it's like, you learn things about yourself when you travel. But I think during this time, it's because a lot of us are in a situation where we're in lockdown, that we have to have more real conversations, because, you know, life is kind of slowed down in many ways. And it's not, we can't fly off somewhere, or we can't go to that coffee shop or that restaurant, or like, it's just, we're in a new normal. And a lot of people, Donna, are feeling very overwhelmed, very depressed, stressed out about losing their businesses, their money, you know, their loved ones. And it's with this system of just doing, you know, downloading the app and just being able to reset your button at night by doing one of the guided meditations, that you're giving yourself the best chance to be able to navigate through this stress, because HeartMath doesn't take it away, or coaching doesn't take it away, but it's how you're able to cope and to be resilient through that, to respond in a new way, and not to be hard on yourself and say, well, you know, like, oh, it's terrible and I should have done this or that. It's like, well, what can I do? How can I be my own best friend? How can I regulate my energy? And then you give the other people the opportunity to say, well, oh, you're different. You're more calm. You're doing more things with less energy, or, you know, you don't fly off the handle about stuff. So it's amazing what it can do. And I think with personal development, a lot of people, like we mentioned before, they go to all the events, they read all the books. And I always say to them, what is the one thing that you're going to apply from that book? Like, I don't care if you can tell me the entire book, like word for word, page for page, but what are you going to do? What's the one thing you're going to apply from it? Because otherwise it's just like knowledge on ice, I feel, anyway.
Yeah, agreed. Lots of knowledge and not doing anything with it. I remember I once read all Tony Robbins things, and then I went to his live. I was there in the audience, and I thought, I read all this already. I know that. And so I wasn't, you know, I was like, tell me something new. And he said and at one point he said, you may read something or been told something and think you know it, but trust me, you do not know it until you do it. And you do it over and over. And I went, aha. So I was like, wow. So I really actually now read things over and over. I do things over and over. And it's absolutely true. Just because I read it doesn't mean I know it whatsoever. So, and I'm really fascinated too, because a lot of people, one of the things I always tell people, literally strangers I meet, and they're telling their story, they're sad about this, or things aren't working in their life. And I instantly think, what's one thing that I could share with them just this moment, besides a smile and an ear to listen, right? I'm really good at that. But I think, what's the one thing I could share? And I've over the last couple of years, I started sharing, if I could give you one gift, do a 10-minute meditation. And of course, the average person is like, I can't clear my mind. I can't do this. And I said, well, how about just go to YouTube and whatever interests you, morning meditation, birds, whatever there is. I said, 10-minute guided meditation, and do nothing but listen to it. Just breathe and listen to it. I said, that's the beginning. But so this is very interesting, because that's what the HeartMath is doing for you. It's a slow way to be grateful, which puts us all in a place where we need to live, right? Because then we won't worry about other things, because we're grateful for what we have in the here and now. And it also is a journey to take you into a higher ability to be able to meditate deeper, because people are so afraid. And I'm like, no, please, just like you're saying, just listen to one of the guided meditations for 3 minutes, 3 times a day. We can all do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just to become familiar with yourself. That's all it is. Meditation is to become familiar with yourself. So like picking your favorite song, like I'll do meditations on my HeartMath to house music. Like I'll sit and I'll watch with my eyes open, and I'll do heart focused breathing, and I'll watch like the videos, or I'll make mind movies for myself of house music. And I'm like, I don't need to be sitting quietly, you know, all just with the universe. If that's what you want to do, great. Like sometimes I do that too, you know,
Right.
but for me, it's like my favorite music for a few minutes a day, hand on my heart, and just breathing through my heart.
Okay.
And just focusing my attention on my heart and just imagining the breath is flowing in and out of the heart or chest area. Just breathe in slower and deeper than usual. It doesn't have to be meditation where you're sitting in prayer position at all. Like that's something that you can do on the move. And people say to me, like, when I'm in LA, I use Uber and Lyft a lot and everything like that. One of the Uber drivers, I got into the car and I could see he was like going through something. And I said to him, "You're okay?" And he was like, "Oh no, I don't feel well." I said, "Oh," straight away, I'm like, "Do you do meditation?" He's like, "Oh, I try." And he said, "But I don't really know how to do it." And I was like, "Man, just pick a song. I don't care if it's gangster rap music. I don't care if it's house music. I don't care what it is." I said, "But you just need to put that music on and just breathe through your heart." I said, "It's not about religion. It's not about anything other than you, because you have your heart." And, he's like, "Oh, like, I think that's going to work for me." And I was like, "Look, you can email me my website, like, you're not having all my contact details, but you can have my website." And, he sent me an email and he goes like, "What you told me that day really made a difference." And he said, "I've been doing my best to do the HeartMath practice," because he downloaded the application because he saw on my website. And it's just like, it makes a difference. It doesn't cost a lot. So right now people are worried about the cost of things. Things can be, luxury items for a lot of people, but you can download a free app. There's on my website, there's a lot of information. I've got a dream board course that's free right now during the lockdown that people can do. So it doesn't cost a lot of anything but your time. And we've all got 24 hours in a day. And, I guess in business and life, people always say to me, "I haven't got the time." Even now people will say, "Oh, I'm so busy because I'm on Zoom all day." I'm like, well, look, you know what? If you haven't got time, you need to make some. We've all got 24 hours in a day. We've all got responsibilities or hobbies or things that we want to do. And we all just need to make the effort to participate in our own personal development. And that can be as simple as having, 9 minutes of meditation a day, 3 minutes. I'm sure you can find some songs.
Exactly.
Sit on a chair and just put your hand on your heart. And, if you want to practice gratitude, and if there's things that you find that are, going through your head, just get a notebook out and just put draining and renewing, or things that are like constantly going around in your head, the stories that you're telling yourself. And you can look at it and just say, "Look, you know what? Can I see this situation in a different way? What can I do about it? How can I be at peace with this situation? Do I need to have a conversation?" It's just like practical personal development, and if we know solutions for it, then don't put any more energy into it. So, okay, you know what? I'll just find a way to be at peace. And if I can't do anything about it, then why would I spend more energy on it? Like putting your energy in a better space. And I'm all about what makes you happier. So like let's say somebody's like can't find joy in their life. And I said, "Well, what did you like to do when you were younger? What kind of music did you like? What kind of stuff do you like to do?" Like some people are like, "Oh, I just love to have a coffee and have peace and quiet and read the newspaper." I'm like, "Well, make sure you do that at least once a day," and just being mindful that there are things that you can do in lockdown that, do create joy for you, but maybe you haven't done them for a while. So whether it's picking up an instrument or cooking again or exercising, or starting to plant some plants or in your garden. Like there's so many things that we can do in lockdown. It's just many people have been so used to being on a certain program in their life, and the program has changed and is changing constantly. And I think a lot of people are afraid, Donna, about the situation we're in, and we must take care of our mental health now more than ever. Because it's just like people are isolated, people are scared, but you can navigate anything when you are resilient and you're coherent and you're thinking straight. It doesn't matter what happens to you, it's how you respond to what happens. Of being able to reach out and feed yourself with good books, whether that's you're buying books or watching YouTube videos and feeding yourself with positivity. and not being drained by, you know, the situation of sitting looking at news all day long. Like, have a social media fast. And just knowing where to spend your energy. Like, I've gone through situations where I've lost everything in my life, my health, you know, my business is going like completely in the wrong direction years ago. You know, people being sick of my family, you know, at one stage, it was one storm that all happened at once. And I was just like, wow, like, okay. And then, but people wouldn't necessarily know that you've gone through that. They'd see me and say, oh my God, you always look so happy. And I was just like, that's because I know I can redefine my life. I can recreate my life. And it doesn't matter what happens. I've been taught from a young age that it's what you do about what happens. From, you know, my mother being very spiritual and being a Buddhist for so many years, like, and, you know, going through some very difficult times, I could say, with, you know, family and that it was like she had the courage to redefine her life, and was like, had the ability to recreate and wasn't afraid of it. Because when you're afraid and you're in fear, you don't do anything, right?
Right. Absolutely. You freeze. Yeah. You stop.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It's just being responsible for your energy. And with HeartMath, it's a self-regulated system. You know, you can get the tech, you can download the app, you know, there's coaching available as well. There's courses, you can become a coach. Like, people are going to need more coaches now, because there's a lot of people experiencing, you know, anxiety, depression, PTSD. First responders are going to need it. So there's going to be a need for a lot more coaches around the world now that are qualified to help in this fashion, is what I can say. You know, not just for first responders, but for people, for everyday people that are, you know, living their life and they're in a new normal and they just don't know how to navigate.
How to navigate, right? I mean, I know for myself, I stopped watching the news probably 3 weeks ago. And I was like, no, I can't do it, because I personally can't do anything. And I just keep hearing stuff, and then I have the conversation, and I don't really want to have the conversation anymore. I don't want to have the conspiracy conversation. I don't want to have the this, the that, because it doesn't matter. What matters is how we deal. Like you said, it matters how you're showing up and how you're dealing with it and dealing with your relationships in your life. I can't solve that problem, whether it's man-made or not man-made or conspiracy or this or that. It just doesn't. That's nowhere in my wheelhouse. So what I can do is practice coherence. What I can do is get in touch with my heart. What I can do is reach out to the beautiful people I've met around the world that are making differences in their own lives and profound differences in other people's lives. And that, to me, is so beautiful. And I've been fortunate to meet people like you. And as you said, when you shift your energy, the universe literally puts what you're looking for in front of you. I mean, just every person that I've met and is chatting with me and is part of my life, it blows me away. Like you said, mystical, you know? It's like the red dress. You think about a red dress, you see red dresses everywhere. No,
exactly.
It's a red car, but you know what I mean? It was like just the next person and the next person, and the next person that shows up. And the universe is doing it for you. So it is the energy. So you have to keep adjusting your energy, right?
Yes. And Donna, I can say for myself, and many of the people that I come across, including yourself, you know, if you look at a situation, even when things are so bad, if there's somewhere in your heart, like, why did this happen? You know, like, I'm such a good person, or, you know, this happens all the time. If something terrible has happened or happening to you right now, there's something inside of us that's indestructible. That's somewhere that, you know, that you're like, you know what? If you can get into your heart and say, I'm going to get through this. I don't know how this is going to be a benefit to me now. I have no idea how this is going to be a benefit to me. Like, you just don't know. But you say somewhere in this situation that's like life is disintegrating, that something good is going to come out of this. Like, I'm going to learn something, I'm going to have growing pains, or I'm going to be able to build a resilient muscle that I didn't want to build, but I build it because I had no choice but to be strong. And you look back on experiences, and I can say from my personal experience that some of the worst things that have happened to me have turned out to bring me to where I am today. they've brought me more compassion, more understanding, more resilience, more like confidence. And it's actually been a benefit to me, even though I would never wish some of the things that have happened, you know, or to me or that I've gone through on anybody. But it's like I have that I have the gratitude even for the bad stuff. And it's like, well, sometimes that quote, it's like sometimes, you know, we think we've been buried, but we've been planted.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, and that's the truth. We look for what is it? Don't look at what life is doing to me. What is it doing for me?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And get excited. Like, get excited about like, okay, well, this has all gone to custard, you know, like, what are we going to do about that? And it's like, oh, well, you know what? When you look back in your life and say something better always comes along. And if that's the way you see it, that's the way it's going to happen. Like a better, you know, business, better job, better relationship, better everything. And it's just like, if that's whatever you focus on, like expands, like you said, like the red dress or the red car, it's like, well, you look for things. And it's like, if you look for the beauty in the problem, you know, like, and it's like, oh, well, I don't know what the gift is yet, but I know it must be a big one because I'm being tested, you know? So it's just the way you respond to it with your energy. And, you know, like some people close to me would have the same stories for years, for my whole life that I know them. Like I'm hearing the same stuff. And I'm like, well, you know, you're still complaining about the same things. So like maybe we just we rewrite the script, or we find a new way to see that situation. And like sometimes we have to shut people down and say, oh, you know what, are we going over that again? We've spoken about that before. And if it's been over a long period of time, it's like sometimes we just need someone to call us out on stuff.
Absolutely.
Say, hey, you know what? I've heard this like for the last 10 years and nothing's changed. Maybe we need to have a new strategy. How can I help you? Beautiful. You know, it's just having that servant attitude of like being able to shift people. And it can just be one conversation or one interaction with somebody, you know, it can be as simple as that it just wakes them up and go, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, I've been complaining about how my father did this or that, you know, for 50 years.
Yeah.
You know, but now they're like 70 and they're still talking about it. I was like, you're still allowing that person to affect your life now. They're gone, you know, like, and that situation is long gone. So it's like being able to be at peace and have real conversations with people. Like my coach, I'm still in touch with him. He's tremendous. When he would call me out on stuff and I'd be like, oh, you're right. You know, so it's just like a good coach will call you out on stuff in a very supportive way in order for you to be able to shift that and move forward, you know. And it's not necessarily like you don't ring or like connect with someone to like, you don't want someone just moaning about the same stuff all the time. It's like, look, we understand you're in pain. We understand that you want to change. What can we do to help you move forward? What new habits do you need to create? You know, what boundaries do you need to have with people in your life? How can you move forward with a situation? You know, and it's just minding your energy in order to be able to have the capacity to be creative, to do the things that you want to do and do the things that set your soul on fire. And, you know, it will mean that you will have to change something, you know.
Did you hear that, everyone? Do the things, I'm writing it down, that set your soul on fire.
Because that's what I do.
Love that.
Yeah, I am. You know me. I like to travel. I like to have fun. I love adventure. You know, I'm not afraid of starting over or going somewhere like that's exotic that I haven't been before. Like, because I just decided that I'm an explorer and I want to explore the world and I want to have fun. And like, whether that is what, you know, people around you want you to do, that's, you know, your life is yours to live. And I think that I guess with my clients, I have the ability to enable them to become happy, whatever happiness looks like for them, you know, because, yeah. So if you're happy to travel, you're happy to, you know, do some new education, start a business, have a go. Like, I just want people around me to be happy and to find that it's an inside job. Like you spoke before, like happiness is an inside job. Joy is within us. And sometimes we can explore everywhere, which we'll still do for fun, for adventure, because that's what we are. We love to, I love the word gallivant, you know, see the world and explore it. But it's just like happiness is an inside job, and you're going because you want to, not because you're trying to escape anything. It's because you just have this curious mind to explore, and that you're not running away from yourself, because we bring ourselves everywhere. It's just being able to shift that perspective to manage our energy and to create good habits, Donna.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful, Charlotte. Wow, you are amazing. And that is what she's all about. And yes, I like to gallivant as well. And
we're gonna do it together, girl.
So much fun. And so I don't know, I don't have any questions. I think everyone's just like, wow, this is so cool. I see Jessica says like, I love this. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for joining us. If you're out there, put it in the chats, and we'll say hi. But yes, so it's so wonderful, and I'm so grateful for this conversation today. And I think that a lot of the information that you shared, a lot of people will be grateful as well to hear this. Or I don't want to use the word need, but this is an important message right now. For everyone. Look at every single point that you made, Charlotte. It's just so amazing. And you are such a beautiful friend and human being and goddess on this earth, and siren. And she is super fun to go have dinner with, and a glass of wine. Just amazing to go out and see the world with Charlotte through your eyes is especially beautiful.
Donna. Thank you.
Beautiful.
You're amazing.
Yeah. So if you had I feel like there's not one thing you could say, because you said it all, but to our viewers, and we welcome our future viewers that were watching this on a replay. And Charlotte, all of her information is on the description, her website, Made It With Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
MadeItWithCharlotte.com. And I love that the app is free, that people can download it. They don't necessarily have to see, they don't have to have this device to see their HRV and their coherence. I love to quantify. So I love to see like, what am I doing inside? But it's sort of a hobby of mine to biohack this body, mind, and soul. But you will see, you don't have to do that, because you will see the difference by doing the practice consistently, as Charlotte said. So please visit her website and download the app for HeartMath. It's amazing. I did mine this morning, and I'm going to get back into my practice, because I as well, as much as I work on myself 24/7, I think I had been missing this little piece for a while. So it's funny how the universe brings us all back together and reminds us of what we need. So Charlotte, any final words for our wonderful viewers out there?
Yes, I would say practice gratitude every day. Gratitude every day. When you wake up, whether it's that you've got a roof over your head, or whether you've got people that love you in your life, or that there's a pet that loves you, like having gratitude for your life, and that you can, redesign your life if you choose to do that. And just, before you go to bed at night, just practice gratitude just before you sleep, because, we just need to be grateful in our lives, and being grateful is a really good energy to be putting out there right now. So gratitude and forgiveness. I can say forgiving yourself, for maybe putting up with things that didn't serve you. And like a lot of the stuff in my retreat, it's about gratitude and forgiveness. And, forgiveness will change your life, because you release that energy. The final words would be gratitude and forgiveness. If you just do that one thing for yourself every day, if it's gratitude, prayer, do one thing at least for yourself a day, and for me, I do quite a lot of things for myself, but I serve a lot of people. So it's like, I can only serve at the capacity that I serve, because I take care of my energy. So it's like, I make sure that I'm full, that I'm, got everything that I need in order to put that overflowing energy into other people, because that's how I choose to serve. Beautiful.
Well, Charlotte, it was, I am more than grateful.
You're amazing.
That you chatted with me today on Oh-Jus Chatting. And thank you so much. We will talk soon again. And thank you. I want to say goodbye to you now.
You're amazing.
Love you, girl. You are so amazing too.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Thank you, Donna.
Yes, thank you. And thank you to all our viewers. And thanks for watching Oh-Jus Chatting. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.